Hello everyone. I am so excited and glad to be here in the great city of Woonsocket with all of you today to support all of our wonderful friend Alex Kithes. Let's give him a round of applause. My name is Aaron Megan Berg, and Alex asked me to join him here, and I'm so glad to be able to introduce him tonight. And I'm so excited about what this campaign means to all of us. When I first heard that Alex was running for City Council, I was super excited. And I was excited not only because I know that Alex is an incredibly hard worker, someone who loves this city and will bring the kind of commitment and passion to this job that the people of Woonsocket deserve. But even more so than that, I was excited because I know that Alex, unlike a lot of the people who run for office, Alex understands that politics is not just about money games and power, that politics can be about helping people, improving people's lives, about lessening suffering in our communities, about fighting for a system that works for everyone. That's not something that we see too often in our system. And it's incredibly important. At this moment, I think in particular, we're at kind of a scary point in our history, right? Where so many of our political structures are not set up to help people, are failing way too many. You know, we've got an economic system that is dominated by Wall Street and a few giant corporations that come into places like Woonsocket and decimate our small businesses and ship jobs overseas and grind working families down to work for the lowest possible wage so that people are working harder for less, it feels like, every year. We're living with this drug overdose crisis that is tearing families apart, that was manufactured by a pharmaceutical billionaire like the Sackler family for their profit. We're living with this climate crisis that was spurred on by fossil fuel billionaires and 4 decades of political leadership on both sides, from both parties, that have failed to take real action, so that now we are all facing what's really an existential threat to human civilization on this planet. So there's a lot to be worried about right now, and I think that is why it is more important, maybe than it has ever been before, that we have leaders at every level, at the federal level, at the state level, and here at the local level. Leaders who have the guts to stand up to the machine, to buck the establishment, to actually fight for regular people. And that's why we're here for Alex. The fights that we're facing are not easy. You know, the changes we want to see are not going to happen on their own. I can attest to that as a former state rep, as someone who's run for statewide office. There's a real disconnect right now between what's happening in all of our communities and what's happening in our legislative chambers and our halls of power. The problem, as I've seen, is that the folks, the interests that do not want to see bold climate action, that do not want to see a living wage so that working people can take care of their families, that do not want to see programs to create an even playing field between small businesses and big corporations, that do not want to see a tax system that asks the wealthy and powerful to pay their fair share. Those interests, by and large, can afford to buy a whole lot more lobbyists and attorneys to support their interests. They can afford to write a lot bigger campaign contributions. They can afford to get into a lot more of those smoke-filled back rooms where the deals happen than most of us. And that's an imbalance that we need to fight, and we need to do it by getting organized. We need to build a stronger movement to elevate the voices of regular people. We need to get used to going up to the State House, to our city halls, to push our public officials. We need to get to a point where when we rally, our voices are heard all across the state, and we need to roll up our sleeves and get to work to elect new leaders who are going to use their platforms to stand up, to fight, to elevate the voices of everyday, regular, working people and Rhode Islanders all across this state. That's a lot of work. That's not easy. And we don't have a lot of time to do it. But the point is, there is a path, right? A better future is possible. And I believe with all of my heart that here in Woonsocket, that better future, that path starts on July 2nd in the special election, electing this man right here. So without further ado, it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce the star of tonight to everyone, Alex Kithes. Let's give him a big round.